as many of you saw today, we now are happy to have a family of 34 integral yoga ministers, and which means there are more of Gurudev's senior members ready and willing to serve whoever comes to the ashram in need, or wherever they go, make themselves available to be of service throughout this world. And one of his most devoted and knowledgeable ministers is the Reverend Prakash Shakti. Reverend Shakti has for many years served this ashram and Gurudev's teachings in many different capacities. She was for quite some time serving at the Washington, D.C. Institute with Reverend Parman Barcel many, many years ago when they were young and had a little more spring to their step, though they still can cut a pretty good rug today. But we were visiting today with the Reverend Barcels and just reflecting on how we all had first met Sri Gurudev, and Prakash's story was quite astounding to all of us. And her first encounter with Sri Gurudev, personal meeting, was in prison, in Lorton Prison. He was there to give an address, and she, as a yogi, was there and had the great honor with a few other people to hear him speak to the prisoners. And since then, she has continued her great service in teaching Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga. She's one of our primary speakers, and it's always a delight when she comes forward to be of service in any way. I had the great joy for many years of standing in the wings and watching her on stage. We went to West Virginia University together, where we both received our Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and she was one of the finest artists I've ever seen grace the stage. So I would like to invite her up now to pay a tribute to Sri Gurudev, Reverend Prakash Shakti.
Well, living up to that introduction is a tall order. Gosh.
Why weren't you in prison?
I was very bad. Okay. Well. I feel like I should be dictating the terms of the rest of the weekend or something. Okay. No, I was in prison because Gurudev was coming to speak there. And I was with a small group of people from the Washington Integral Yoga Institute who went to join him to go in and then hear him speak. But I've taught yoga in prisons too. So, I have the honor and challenge of giving a tribute to someone for whom no tribute could ever be adequate. Our beloved Swami Satchidananda Ji Maharaj Gurudev. It's so wonderful to have more and more people coming to the ashram, and yet I'm sometimes sad that some of our folks who've come in recent years didn't have the opportunity to experience Gurudev in person. He certainly is very much present among us, and his teachings are vibrant and alive. But some of the everyday things that we experienced with him, I just really wish everyone could experience. So I guess some of us try to share through stories and so forth to share that with everyone. Gurudev. As Reverend Parman this morning was talking about what it was like when Gurudev, the door would start to open and the energy of Gurudev just walking out. It was quite fabulous. And to be here in the ashram and have maybe just like, it would be not like a gust of wind, but sort of like a soft wind, and you would turn around and there was Gurudev in your office or coming down the path, or sometimes he'd be on his golf cart, and there would just be this very slightest sound, and just he'd glide up and stop and talk, and the lovely, lovely moments with him. Gurudev was multidimensional, is multidimensional. One of the many things that I love about him is that he really cultivated individuals. He cultivated different qualities in different people. He didn't want everybody to be exactly alike. There were certain guidelines, of course, in integral yoga, but within that, he wanted us to be expressive of who we were and to bring out the very best in all of us. He really worked on that in many different ways. And he had an ability to look at each individual and see deep inside, deep, and pull things out. He wouldn't do the same thing with me that he would do with, say, Ramakrishna II. You know, we're all one, but very different. And he liked that. He liked variety. He liked different things in life. Life wasn't supposed to be boring and dull, but live it and enjoy it. So, of course, one of the best, probably the best way that I can share about Gurudev is with stories of him. And I was thinking today about how he was always, he had a lot of fun. He enjoyed many things. And no matter what he was doing, how much fun he seemed to be having, how serious he seemed to be, he was always serving. Never stopped. Never stopped. I was remembering a time when we visited the Washington Cathedral. And Paraman, remember this. We were touring the Washington Cathedral, and there was a very dear woman with us who is a very dear woman, but she wanted Gurudev to really have certain experiences. So he's walking, looking, fairly quiet, but observing everything. The Washington Cathedral, for those who don't know, has beautiful gardens. outside, in addition to how wonderful it is inside. So Gurudev is walking, we're all walking a little bit behind. And this lovely lady, she kept saying, Gurudev, do you see this? Oh, did you look over here? Can you see that? And he's just very quiet. Now, some of us know that if you speak to Gurudev and you speak to him again and you speak to him again and he's, you might want to just be quiet. So, but she was so eager for him to experience every single thing that she just kept it up. And she started saying, Gurudev, do you smell the boxwood? There are marvelous boxwoods there. And walk a little further. Gurudev, can you smell the boxwood here? We walked a little further. Gurudev, all this boxwood, you must be able to smell that here. He said, smells like bat dung in the caves in India. Yes. So. I thought of so many things to share. It really is. I can remember Gurudev on Master Shivananda's Jayantis. He would say, it's impossible to speak about my master. And it's true, because there's just nothing that can capture him. He's not capturable. But I will, Priyanandaji, who could do things like this? Priyanandaji and I went to college together. We were in plays together and classes together. And then didn't see each other for years and years. And then one day I was sitting at the desk at the Connecticut ashram. All these people came from California, and I was helping. Mataji and I were signing them. I think Mataji and I were there at the desk. Mataji Gurucharananandaji. And signing people in. And I looked up, and I hope you don't mind me using your earlier name. I looked up, I said, Sissy Kirkendall? And she said, Julie Capen? It was mind-boggling, because we hadn't seen each other for years. We'd both moved all over the place since then and had many experiences. And here we were at Satchidananda Ashram, Connecticut. To me, that is a great example of Gurudev's Leela, that the way he's played with us all. And sometimes I find I forget where I know people from, because don't forget the people, but because there's so many of us who've been in different experiences together. We've been in Connecticut, and then we might have, I was in San Francisco for a while with a few other people. He's moved us all around, all these little chess pieces all over the place, interacting with one another, supporting one another, rubbing and scrubbing with one another, and all under his amazing, loving direction. And that's above all. I just experienced his great heart. And I know all of you, still experience that so much. Once I was really having a challenging time. I had had some profound but unsettling experiences in meditation. And I just didn't know what to do with that, and was unsettled, as I said. So I called Gurudev about that. He talked to me about it. He told me some things to do, including sesame oil on the top of the head and some other things. But at the end of the call, he said, "Don't forget, I'm always with you. I'm beside you. I'm in front of you. I'm behind you. And I will never leave you." And I believe that that is true for every single one of us, whether we physically walked with Gurudev or we walk with him now in a new way. He is with us always, beside us, behind us, in front of us. Om Shanti.